بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب عليه السلام.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه أو قال لجاره ما يحب لنفسه. Please recite salawat. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Respected scholar Sayyid Abdul Razak, brothers, sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa ta'ala wa
The
barakatuh.
concept of love is a concept of utter significance. What is the concept of love? Today all of us here strive towards attaining love. Do all of us agree? Whether it is a communal love, we want love to develop within the community. How do we attain that love? We want love, peace and justice to exist within the country. We want Tanzania to be a peaceful country, a loving country. How do we attain this love? Within a marriage, you require love in a marriage. How do you attain that love? So tonight, inshallah, within this short rendition, we shall discuss the concept of love. But before that, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Now let us divide love into 4 proportions. How many? 4 proportions. I like doing this. I love doing this. Whenever there is a word, I like dividing that word. How? Love. How many words are there in love?
4.
L stands for laughter. O stands for optimism. V stands for volunteerism. E stands for encouraging. How are all these linked to marriage? We shall discuss that tonight. Number 1. What was number 1? Laughter. It's a very good crowd, mashallah. People are paying very good attention. So number 1, laughter. How do you bring that laughter? How do you bring that happiness? You want an environment of happiness? The Holy Prophet gives the answer in the hadith I quoted earlier. This hadith is there within Sahih al-Bukhari. What does this hadith say? Rasulullah says, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه أو قال لجاره ما يحب لنفسه. That none of you will attain faith. What do you call yourself? What do we all call ourselves? We call ourselves Muslims, the followers of Rasulullah, right? The Prophet himself says that don't call yourself Muslim, hapana. Don't say that you are a Muslim. None of you have attained faith until and unless you love for yourself what you love for your brother. Let me give you an example. If you have a high financial status and your brother doesn't have a high financial status, you should try your level best to uplift your brother. Brother, I mean anyone. It can be a brother in faith or an equal in humanity. Any human being requiring financial assistance, requiring aid, requiring help, you should be there. And therefore, this is essentially marriage. What you love for yourself, you have to love for your partner as well. Rasulullah says that if you do not love what you love for yourself for other human beings, then you are not a person who is following my teachings and my principles. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So a man whom you all must have heard of, Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a man who fought for the civil rights of the African Americans. He was part of the civil rights movement. So he says in one of his memorable quotes, he says, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Am I right? If today here there is darkness, what will we do? We will call Nizar uncle. We will say, Nizar uncle, please open the generator, switch on the generator, and then you will see light. So can darkness remove darkness? You cannot eradicate darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. You can remove darkness by using light. And then Martin Luther King says, hatred cannot remove hatred. Only love can remove hatred. And therefore, for example, if there is a dispute between the couple, if the husband disagrees with the wife on a certain aspect, or the wife disagrees with the husband, don't retaliate. Listen to each other. Right? Hatred cannot remove hatred. Love can remove hatred. Therefore, you respond appropriately and aptly. So Martin Luther King. And transparency is very important. You want to bring happiness. Number one, L stands for?
Laughter.
L stands for laughter. You want to bring laughter, you want to bring joy, you want to bring happiness. What is essential? Transparency. Communicate with your partner. Today, if you want something, if I, example, go towards Ali Kuku, and I say, I want to eat. The waiter will say, what do you want to eat? You don't say, no, how much? 10 chickens you want to eat? 20 chickens? You have to communicate so that you can get efficient food. If you want effective nutrition, you have to say, I want, for example, I'll say I want 1 sekela, 1 chips, 1 butter naan. Thank you. Or if I'm in a mood, I'll say I want 1 plate of noodle. But effective communication. Therefore, with your partners, this is important. If you want something from your partner, don't just keep that person in a loop. Then my partners will see it in my eyes that this is what I want. No. Yes, that also exists. But important is communicate effectively. Be transparent, be open. So number one, laughter. What is actual laughter? What is true laughter? What is true joy, true love? All of you have heard this phrase, true love. What is it? So a man by the name of Robert Anson Halen. He's an American science fiction writer. He has written several books. So he says, what is love? He defines love. He says love is that condition. Love is that condition in which the happiness of another person is essential to your own. Love isn't about having a smile on your face. That's not love. If you smile, that doesn't mean you have true love. When you make other people smile, that is called true love. When you spread happiness, when you spread joy, that is true love. Therefore, if you want true love to exist within your marriage, you are not allowed to smile alone. You need to make your partner smile as well. So that's number one, laughter, happiness. Number two, optimism. Optimism, positivity. You should be positive about every aspect of life. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
And let us recite a salawat for Ma'alim Mansoor. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So, there is a book by the name of Faraj Ba'da Shidda. This book was written by a respected author, Hussein ibn Sa'id al-Bistani. This man here has written 500 incidents, narrated 500 incidents about people who have failed in life, have struggled in life, but eventually they overcame all those challenges. So he says in one incident, there was a man, very rich, very affluent. You know, today when you want to measure a person's worth, what do you say? Net worth. This person, he was very rich. However, a problem occurred. He lost his financial status. He started getting losses in his business. Eventually, he became a poor person. He lost a lot of wealth. Now he went towards Imam al-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He went towards Imam al-Sadiq and he says that, Ya Imam, I was once one of the aristocrats in Arabia. I was a rich man. But now I'm a destitute. I don't have any support. Nobody of my friends help me anymore. You know, when you are rich, you have many friends. But then when you become poor, nobody bothers about you. People say, who cares? He's got losses in his business, he'll deal with it himself. He'll deal with it himself. But when you are happy, when you throw a party, everyone attends. So he says that, Ya Imam, I was rich. I'm poor now. What do I do? The Imam said, I will assist you. I will help you. This person, did he say, I want financial help, Ya Imam? He did not say. He just said, Ya Imam, I'm poor. I need some advice. The Imam said, I will give you advice, but first I will also give you financial assistance. Because when you help someone, you give that person courage that, people are there to support me. Who better than the man who is the grandson of Rasulullah? So Imam said, I am there to assist you. And then the Imam advises this person. He says, in difficult times, do not be impatient. During marriage, patience becomes very important. Sometimes there will come a time where you might have financial difficulties. There might come a day whereby you two have had a dispute. But patience becomes imperative, very important. Number one, patience. And then the Imam says, do not lose hope in the face of calamities. When you encounter trials and tribulations, do not lose hope, do not despair in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the Imam says, this is an amazing line. In life, whenever you encounter challenges, whenever you have problems, remember this quote from Imam As-Sadiq. He says, behind the curtains of difficulties are concealed astounding candles of hope. Astounding candles of hope. In the book Faraj Ba'ad al-Shiddah. So the Imam highlights that if you go through problems, do not lose hope. Hope is essential towards the progression of humanity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in Surah 12 verse 87, وَلَا تَعْأَسُوا مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ. Do not despair the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Understand, if you have no one support in this world, there is a Lord watching over you. There is a Lord who is there for your protection. No matter how much your image gets tarnished in society, no matter how many people attack you, understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there to protect your image, to protect your reputation. And He is there to always love you. So number one, L stands for? O stands for? Optimism. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 216, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ. Sometimes you may say, I want money, but money never comes to me. I never get money. Some people say, I run towards money, money runs away from me. I run from sicknesses, sickness comes to me. Sickness runs towards me. Allah gives the answer in this verse, Surah 2 verse 216, that there are certain things in life you want, but you don't get it. Why? And then Allah said that there are certain things you don't want and you get them. Why? Because Allah knows what is good for you and Allah knows what is bad for you. وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. What Allah knows, you do not know. He gives the answer in the Quran. That sometimes you take the effort, you put in the effort. In your marriage, you put in the effort. You try your best. But eventually you leave everything in the hands of God, in the hands of the Lord. If I ask you right now, according to you, which is the greatest sickness? What will you say? I'm asking you. The greatest disease, cancer, someone says cancer, Ebola, diabetes, diabetes is bad. No cake, no soda, that's hard. No chocolate, yes. Anybody else? Another sickness? HIV? Okay.
Love.
Our brother says love. No. At a place like this, love is not a disease. Love is one of the greatest things, and that is my topic. But thank you. So Imam Ali says, I am telling you according to me what is the greatest disease. In Quran al-Hikam, hadith number 2860. Imam Ali says the greatest of afflictions, the greatest disease is cutting off hope. When you say, I have lost hope, that is the greatest disease. That is the greatest affliction. In the book of James, in the Bible, chapter 1, verse number 12, God says that blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial. So O stands for optimism. V, what did I say earlier? Volunteerism. How is volunteerism linked? How? So we have a narration within Hikayat al-Shahidani, volume 5, page 114, Al-Muhajjat al-Bayda, volume 6, page number 80. This narration goes as follows. Bibi Zainab was married to a man by the name of Abdullah ibn Ja'far, the son of Ja'far al-Tayyar. This man was very charitable. If you want to understand generosity, understand Abdullah ibn Ja'far al-Tayyar. One day he says, I saw someone who was more generous than me. When? He was passing by a house and he saw a slave. That slave was outside the house, and that slave, he had food in front of him. He was given food, so slave eat food. As he was about to eat food, there was a dog that came. The dog started wagging its tail. So Abdullah ibn Ja'far al-Tayyar, he said, the slave said, eat the food. The slave said, eat the food. Abdullah ibn Ja'far al-Tayyar was watching this. So now the dog straight away, whatever food was kept in front of him, he finished the food off. Now the slave said, I have a little bit of food left. I have not eaten anything. The slave said, let me give this food towards the dog. Let it finish the food. The dog ate the entire food. Abdullah ibn Ja'far al-Tayyar called the slave. He said, come here. He said, the food that you just gave your slave, what about you? What will you eat? What will you do to satisfy your hunger? How will you satiate your hunger? The slave replied, I will satiate my hunger with patience, because I understand that the dog was in more need of the food than me. Abdullah ibn Ja'far al-Tayyar said, wait right here. He called the owner. He said, oh owner, give me the documents of your house. He purchased the house. And then he says, give me your slave. I want to purchase your slave. He purchased the slave. And then he says that I am freeing you, O slave, in the way of Allah. You are no more a slave, you are now free. And this house that I have bought right now, it is not mine, it is your house. Therefore, as a couple, try your level best to help as much in society. Whenever there is a chance to volunteer, help, because that will elevate your rank, that will elevate your marriage. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And I end with the final portion. And before I go on to this, let us try to understand one thing, that when you help society, no one will benefit but your children. And we have a person who has always served the community, Uncle Sajjad Hajj. He has always been there to serve the community. Whenever he is needed, whether he is sick, whether he is fine, whether he is healthy or unhealthy, you give him a call, that please come and serve us, please come and help us. He is always there to help. Therefore, a very big inspiration for our community. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And we pray that through his barakah, all the marriages happening today, all the married couples stay happily ever after, inshallah. And I end with my lecture with the final portion. What was L? O? V? MashaAllah. Number 4, E, for encouraging. How do you encourage your partner to perform good actions? How? Quran, Surah Al-Imran, chapter 3, verse number 159. How did the Prophet spread his message? Was he vile? Was he a person of anger? The answer is in Surah 3, verse 159. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ فَاعْفُ عَنْهُمْ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. That by mercy of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that by mercy of me, you were lenient towards them. Had you been harsh, had you been a person of anger, a person of violence, these people would have run away from you. Therefore, when you communicate with your partner, communicate with politeness. The Prophet was polite to his enemies. This is a person you expect to live the rest of your life with. The Prophet, with his enemies, he had the best of tongues. He would speak to them so politely that they were astounded with the politeness of Rasulullah. I end my lecture with this quote from Ashley Price. He says, in a marriage, how do you encourage your partner? How do you build a better marriage? He says your partner in marriage should be your best friend no matter what. You may say my best friend is so and so. But now since you're married, you have a new best friend, and that best friend is supposed to remain with you for the rest of your life. And then he says when things get rough, you will face challenges, you will face problems, undoubtedly. All of us here face challenges in different situations. Our country faces challenges, our society faces challenges, the marriages. However, he says when the going gets tough, your marriage and your friendship has to stay strong, has to stay firm, has to stay steadfast. Therefore, I end L for laughter, O for optimism, V for volunteerism, E for encourage each other, even in this heat. When there is heat, even encourage one another. That work hard, you will succeed in life. There are other countries that are so cold that it's unbearable. Therefore, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa ta'ala.
And we end, let us pray for the couples who are getting married today. Let us recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allah